So now, please welcome the official, non-official, non-sponsor of the Savannah Bananas, but a big fan. Please welcome John Fletcher.
Well, thank you, my friend Jesse Cole, owner of the Savannah Bananas, and welcome to this edition of 15 on Fridays with Fletch. Let's welcome our guest. I was introduced to him through our mutual friend, Larry Levine, the founder of Chili's. He began his business, Vestal's Catering, out of his home kitchen 17 years ago. I love your brand promise to alleviate the stress that comes with planning events and gatherings. Your major events include LIV Golf, Live Golf, however you decide to pronounce it, Jewel Charity Ball, Cattle Barons Ball, locations in Fort Worth, Dallas, and Austin, and venues throughout all these areas. And you've been chosen as a caterer for the FIFA World Cup for 2026. So let's please welcome Jordan Swim to 15 on Fridays with Fletch. Jordan, we're glad to have you with us.
Hey, thanks so much, John. Really a pleasure to be here as well.
Tell us about your food experience before opening Vestals.
Yeah, so I mean, it was interesting. As I kind of come back, I look back to some of my initial food narrative. A lot of it was around my grandparents' garden. They in the summers, I would be out there with my grandfather picking tomatoes and okra, coming in with my grandmother cooking those summer produce-driven dinners. And then also with my parents. My parents helped us travel a lot. When growing up, and we'd eat at different restaurants. One of the most memorables was on top of the World Trade Center, eating at Windows on the World, watching fireworks over the Statue of Liberty when I was 13. Those types of memories were always something about celebrations and bringing people together. And I didn't know that those were really the foundations of what would then be a career in food and hospitality.
Wow. So tell us what your aha moment was where you thought, okay, this is it.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because, like a lot of entrepreneurs, the moment you find a little bit of success in your first business, you begin to think, "Oh, I've got to go start all these other businesses. I got to reach my tentacles and do that." And I had a moment one day with the catering business where I really realized, kind of in two things. A friend of mine had challenged me. He said, "Jordan, where is your place in the world of most impact?" And I immediately went in and I realized it's Vestal's. It's with my team at Vestal's. This is my garden. And then I had another moment to where, it's a lot cooler to tell people when you're out, oh, I'm a restaurateur, I've got all these concepts, da, 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 you can go see them. A lot of times as a caterer, it's kind of seen as just like a niche type business. But I was sitting there driving my car down the road and I realized, you know what? I'm Jordan the caterer and I sell chicken and cheese for a living.
That's great. Well, you've got quite the impressive client list that shows that you're doing more than chicken and cheese.
That's right.
Rolex,
That's right.
Sewell, Cattle Barons Ball, Jewel Charity. Tell us about your first major event.
Yeah, so one of my first major events was, it's an interesting thing because every year we have a new event that excites us more and more. But one of the first major events that I had that was really just like kind of pinch myself moment was we did a Christmas party. This was back when Tony Romo was the quarterback of the Cowboys and he was dating Jessica Simpson. And we did an after party where Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson had invited all their friends. And so there were cowboys and celebrities. And I was, little Jordan the caterer cooking fajitas for this group. And we still have amongst my friend group and family, lots of just inside jokes about that night and things that happened. But that was a moment that was aha. That was like, man, this could be a little bit bigger than just selling, chicken salad sandwiches to my mom's friends.
What was the largest number of people that you've served at a single event?
Yeah, so I mean, so obviously Cattle Barons is a great event. That's 3,500 people. And we've done a corporate conference for over 5,000 for breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack the next day. But here's the thing: what's fun about at Vestals is we'll do over 5,000 events this year across the state of Texas. Really, that I-35 corridor from Dallas, Fort Worth, and down to Austin. And we'll have multiple weeks where we'll feed almost 15,000 people in a week between those operations, and that's what I just love. I love seeing that there is no way that anybody can think, oh, that's a few people doing that. They realize it's truly a team effort. And our goal is with our team, no matter how busy we are, how much volume we have, for each event, even if it's just a plated dinner in someone's home celebrating a birthday, what we call a special once in a lifetime moment, we want them to realize that they're the center of attention. They're the center of what's happening there.
So let's talk about, say, a 5,000 person event. How many people does it take to make something like that happen?
Yeah, that's a great. So we start months and months ahead, where we're planning, where we're menu selecting, doing tastings, working through. So already in a large event, you have a team of 3 to 6 people planning and organizing. Then the prep happens, the food ordering happens. In that kind of 2 weeks out, week before, we're starting to source the disposables or the raw ingredients or things that we need for that. And then ultimately, when it comes to fruition, you probably have, let's say, a good team of 20, 30 people really working the days before, prepping to make that food happen. The same amount of people, 10 to 12, getting those events loaded out. And then when you go on site, you're looking at easily having 100, 120 people. Now, if it's a plated dinner, like when we've done plated dinners for 2,500, you easily could need, 250 servers just to manage that dining room. So each of those events are taken at with a different side, a different sense of logistic.
Well, when you're serving, say, 2,500 people, and it's a plated dinner, how do you keep it all hot? I mean,
Yeah, it's
how
great.
many more, how do you do that?
Yeah, so in the catering business, what's interesting is we have really state of the art commissaries both in Dallas and in Austin. And what we do is we that's where all the prep happens. That's where all the beginning, the logistics start. And then at those events, you build large on-site kitchens inside tents, and so those tents are going to have warmers and fryers and ovens. And so what happens is you basically build out a schedule to where you try to engineer the menu so that not you don't want everything to have to be served hot. So if you're passing, let's say, hors d'oeuvres, you want maybe 3 of the hors d'oeuvres to be cool or room temp and only 2 of them to be hot, so you can really focus on keeping those hot and serving those a la minute. Same way with your salad or your protein. As you get now to the entree, it's a time frame. A lot of caterers say one of the best meals to serve is short rib and mashed potatoes and roasted carrots. Well, why? Because all of those ingredients you can hold hot for a long time, and they don't really lose their quality in the same sense as maybe a filet mignon would with grilled asparagus and some sort of other finicky type starch. So what happens is we build out a stage timeline to where we're going to fire all the fillets at X amount of time. Then they're going to need to rest for a certain amount of time in the warmer and hold the temperature. And so, really, one of the things I really say in catering is I say time, temperature, taste, translation, and that temperature one is really one of the key ones because that's where you have to know how to manage those temperatures on those dishes.
Wow. So if you've got, say, like Cattle Barons Ball, and let's say that's a plated dinner, of course, I guess Cattle Barons would be more of a buffet, but if
It
you have
is. It's
a plate
buffet and
dinner,
stations. Jewel charity ball. Jewel charity would be portions of that plated and buffet.
so what time are you cooking starting the day before? You starting at 4
Yeah,
that
so I mean, a
morning?
lot of those things too. I mean, if you think about it, you're going to prep vegetables for a plated entree. I mean, you're going to start washing, cutting, trimming, getting those vegetables marinated definitely a few days before. But you're not going to finish those vegetables until the day of. And that would be typically on site on grills or ovens from that aspect.
Right.
It's really catering is a lot of times what we say it's a logistics business, right? It's a logistics heavy business that just the logistic that we're dealing with is food.
Well, how do you elevate the food experience that, there's a lot of caterers. What what is what happens with a Vestal's catering that's different from other caterings, the magic sauce?
Yeah, so it's interesting because as we've grown and we've shifted, there's just been a number of different aspects and portions moved through. But I would say that the core essence of what we've done is I was just actually in the kitchen a few minutes ago. We've got a big tasting happening today for a plated holiday party, and it's interesting because I'm back there and I'm seeing people creaming butter and sugar to make cookies. I'm seeing people proofing off rolls with egg wash on top. I'm seeing them work the smoker. They're hand trimming brisket, rubbing it, working the smoker. Whereas a lot of other caterers at our size and scale, they're buying already smoked meats in bags, right? And the same thing with turkey. It's right the week before Thanksgiving. We have tons of holiday Thanksgiving luncheons tomorrow, and they were brining the turkeys, rubbing the turkeys, roasting the turkeys, hand slicing the turkeys. What we believe is that quality really shines through. It's the same thing with vegetables. We are blanching our own green beans. We're roasting vegetables separately, working with fresh herbs. And we believe that the simplicity and purity of the food really shines through, that the customer understands what's on the plate.
Well, and people will inevitably leave any company. And so if somebody leaves you to go somewhere else, or they go to even work to a restaurant, they say, tell us about a Vestal's catering, and they'll say, oh, they're cooking their own. They're not bagging it and they're not getting it pre-cut. They're actually doing the real thing.
Yes.
So it's great when people are able to share the true difference in how you approach something and that you do it the right way.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's really one of those things. We've had a tremendous amount of talent that's worked with us, currently with us, or and even moved on. And the thing is, catering is a tough business, right? A lot of people love restaurants. They love the predictability of restaurants. They love the buzz of the nightly restaurant. Catering has really some really great positive things. You know, we don't work as much on Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays. We can kind of be off, build more flexibility in scheduling. But the thing is, catering is a tough business. We are out there. We're unloading trucks, loading trucks, setting up offsite kitchens, bringing through all for the customer. It really is. It's a customer-driven experience. These folks are paying a lot of money to attend these events, a lot of times to raise millions of dollars for causes, or like I said, celebrate once-in-a-lifetime moments, or even the touch to be able to get to be a part of people's most special day at a wedding. That goes so far when people recognize, man, this was all prepared. All of these logistics were for me.
Oh, that's great. So tell us about on your how you're curating your food. For example, are you farm to table? Do you have a certain beef supplier that you work with?
Yeah, so I mean, you know, it's interesting because every event is different. We are partners with a nonprofit farm out in Fort Worth called Timberview Farmstead. We're getting our microgreens, lettuce, any other sort of different produce that they get. You know, they can't provide everything that we need. You know, that's just the nature of the catering. In our beef supplier, it's really about tailoring it to what the client wants. That, you know, so for instance, at Jewel Charity Ball, that's one where they wanted a hanging Wagyu tomahawk station. And so we work with Standard Meats out in Fort Worth. They're a
Yeah.
partner of Jewel Charity Ball. We're getting just tremendous product from that sense. The same way with, you know, center cut fresh fish. It's really based upon the client's need. You know, caviar is so hot in the moment right now. Every, you know, special event wants a little caviar potato chip or a special touch of caviar on a deviled egg. And so that's what's fun about this business is we can source what it relates to. And not every client can pay for the most premium ingredient. So that's what's different about, like, you know, you go to a certain fine dining restaurant, it's always going to be that product because it's always at that price point. But catering is an interesting because each event is custom and every event has a different priority on what they want, how they want to utilize their budget.
All right. Well, you know, you've been featured in Best of D, Brides, Martha Stewart Weddings, and the New York Times. How valuable are those reviews and accolades to you?
You know, I mean, the thing is it's for the pace of our team and the way that they work so hard and the tireless hours. Those accolades really do mean a lot for the team. It means a lot to boost the business, to boost our brand reputation. But at the end of the day, it's the successful. I'd say we're only as good as our last event. The lunches that went out today, right now, the cocktail parties, the dinner parties that are happening, getting set up right now, we're only as good as that. And that's the thing is, as we look to the future, I just turned 40 this year. We are when we look at the next 20 years, we want to be the innovators. We want to drive to create the next level of what we can do in catering. I'm proud of the past. I'm proud of the last 17, 18 years. I'm proud of those moments. But what we're doing is we're open hands, looking to see what we believe the future holds. And the only way we're going to do it is by a great team, a great product, and continuing to really take good care of our customers.
So what do you do to make yourself the preferred caterer of certain venues?
Well, so in that world, it's about the relationship. Typically, you know, a lot of these venues give you a shot. Our price point is going to be higher than a lot of caterers. We have a more complex system, right? We have a different level of infrastructure that we bring to an event to ensure success and quality and process. And so what we do is we don't just go in with blind sales pitch. Our belief is we want to build trust, right? And so we want to build trust with the owners, the managers of those venues. We also want to go and produce some great events there where they build that, you know, and also in the times where maybe something didn't go right, and where that relationship needs attention, that's where that really matters. It really matters that we're able to connect with the clients, connect with the venues in that way. I always tell our customers, I say, look, some of these events have thousands of details. I cannot guarantee that all thousand of those details are going to take place and happen exactly the way you thought they should at that event. The only thing I can guarantee, though, is we're going to answer the phone the next day. And what that means is it's a professional cycle of relationship. That's what we are. We are a service provider of professional catering goods and services.
So what hints can you give to somebody about choosing a caterer?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you'd want to get a call. It also is, it's what are you solving for? What is that event? What is that specialty? For instance, we're not the caterer of choice for people doing, small in-home events. It's just our infrastructure pricing doesn't work for them. I would say try to specialize what you're trying to look for. And I think a lot of people need to sit down and understand what their budget is. It's an understanding of what is their value. Is the value of the party? Is it a value the drinks? Is the value, a multiple plated option? Is it a buffet to feed everybody and get them really full? Or is it innovation? Is it some sort of really incredibly creative party that needs a lot of hand holding and detail? But it's interesting because the customers that really purchase catering, John, it's a very small amount of the population. It's a niche business. It's party planners, it's people getting married, it's corporate event planners, it's nonprofit folks that want to raise money. Now, a lot of people have been to a catered event, but they're not. But that's what's interesting is the person there is not the one buying the catered event, and so that's where a lot more of our time is spent educating those consumers that we're already in touch with.
Well, thank you, Jordan Swim, for joining us, and
Yeah.
join us again next Friday for 15 on Fridays with Fletch. Thanks again, Jordan.
Thanks so much. Bye bye.